babe, wanna leave this town. I'm saying, lover, if you wanna go, I'm down. Darling, we'll make a bigger thing.
Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the CCA California Podcast. My name is Chris. I'll be your host, along with a couple other guest hosts that we'll announce at a later date. Thank you so much for being with us today. I know there's plenty of opportunity, plenty of other resources that you could be otherwise listening to. We certainly appreciate you picking and choosing the CCA CAL Podcast for your entertainment. Today, we are basically just doing the run-through, the very first podcast episode. It's only going to be me today, just kind of giving an explanation of what we want to do, what we want to accomplish with this podcast. First off, again, my name is Chris Arechaederra. I'm the Assistant Director for CCA California. Basically, I'm the guy who you see at all the different events, along with my boss, Wayne Cotto, who's the Executive Director. We're always out and about. We can't do it alone. We certainly appreciate all of the support that has been shown to us from our members, our supporters, our Facebook followers, Instagram, all that good stuff. Like I said, we can't do it alone, and we certainly appreciate all of the support that's been shown to CCA California in not only in 2022, but also since 2015, which is when we were first founded as a state chapter of CCA National. So for starters, for those of you who don't necessarily know exactly what CCA is, the Coastal Conservation Association of California. We run the state chapter and represent all the saltwater anglers in California. Right now, we currently have 7 local chapters at the time of this podcast. We've got 7 local chapters, first starting out in the south in San Diego, Orange County, Los Angeles, Inland Empire, Channel Islands, Santa Barbara, and now Kern County in Bakersfield. We're very, very grateful to all of our volunteers, all of our chapter presidents, chapter leadership that run all the local chapters, and basically, without them, there's no us, that's for sure. Ultimately, what we end up trying to do for you is representing you, the saltwater angler, in both Sacramento and in Washington, D.C., thanks to CCA National. We've got full-time lobbyists in both places representing you, fighting for your rights to fish here in California. Also, another pillar of CCA, especially CCA National, is habitat. We're trying to accomplish build thriving habitat in California in the form of artificial reefs, in the form of seagrass restoration, any other project trying to improve upon and create more habitat in California. Ultimately, it's been a struggle as of late, but we're trying our best. We're trying to ultimately get those projects underway, hopefully in 2022. But like I said, we can't do it alone, so we certainly need some help. And lastly, we're always trying to support all the finfish hatchery programs in California. Most notably, we partner with the Hub's SeaWorld Research Institute in San Diego. Basically, I kind of like to say that we're sister organizations. We've got the same group of people. We've got the same chairman in Bill Shedden from AFCO, and those guys are awesome. Ultimately, what they do is they actually end up running the white sea bass program, which I'm sure we've all heard of, and we'll certainly be going into that later on down the road. But ultimately, they've been the culprits of releasing quite a few fish, quite a few white sea bass over the years. I know every year we have thousands and thousands of juvenile white sea bass delivered to different grow-out pens throughout Southern California, all the way from San Diego and as far north as Oxnard and Channel Islands Harbor. We've got quite a bit of volunteers up and down the coast, ranging from San Diego all the way up to Channel Islands and Channel Islands Harbor, dedicating their time caring for these juvenile fish and ultimately releasing them in the springtime. They normally get deliveries in the fall and get basically released out in the spring. As of the last couple of years, we've been trying to release those via the boat. For those of you who aren't in Southern California, we have a very massive problem with the sea lions who like to basically decimate all of our juvenile white sea bass. So we've always found it to be far more successful to release them from a boat rather than the pier or even just simply lifting up the nets. So that's just a few projects going on. In 2021, we were actually the bill sponsors for the 365-day license, which finally got through in California. It's been a while. To my knowledge, it's been quite a bit of time, between 10 and 20 years or so, trying to get that bill through, ultimately from CSL that has been spearheading. And CCA California actually took on that bill last year, and we ended up getting it through with a whole lot of work from CSL, from other different groups, our lobbyists, and a whole bunch of other people. So there you have it. That's a little bit of a basic background of CCA. We do a whole bunch of stuff. We're always involved with everything. We always like to help out whenever we can as well. I actually come from the charter business, from the charter boat business. I was running a 6-pack out of Fisherman's Landing in San Diego for a little bit, and ultimately got hired by CCA. It's been a fun ride. It's been great learning all about what's needed in our industry, connecting with so many different people, learning from so many different volunteers. It's been an epic ride, and I'm certainly looking forward to the future. Ultimately, what kind of fishing do? I do everything, or at least I try to do everything. I love the saltwater bass scene. I remember growing up as a kid, going up and down the coast from San Diego to Channel Islands. I remember my grandparents had a boat for quite a while, and we ended up going out to the Channel Islands and just all day long, calico bass, white sea bass, halibut, yellowtail even. It was fun. But ultimately, the saltwater bass, the calico bass is near and dear to my heart. I can pull on bass every single day for hours at a time. It's super, super fun for me. I also like the big stuff, the bluefin tuna, the yellowfin tuna. I think there's really not too many other fun activities than pulling on a wide open yellowfin tuna bite in Southern California in the late summer, early fall, on a sport boat especially. Always super, super fun. I think that's kind of my favorite style of fishing. As of late, I kind of describe it as organized chaos, because it really is. But when you're doing it right, when you're being successful, it's super, super fun. And especially when you're amongst some friends, really, really cool. So moving right along, what are we going to do with this podcast? How will it work? What's going to be our posting schedule? All of those details. Ultimately, a while back, probably maybe a year or two ago, I had always dreamed about having a podcast for CCA. Obviously, we all know how much podcasts have taken off as of late, and I thought it was a great opportunity for us to get in the podcast game, but also it's another delivery mechanism for all the important information that we need to get out to you, the angler, in California, and also in the country too. So that's kind of the reason why we ended up starting it. Not to mention that we're also going to have some really, really fun guests on this podcast as well. We're starting with next week. Mr. Kevin Nakata is going to come on, and he's going to basically talk all kinds of fishing. That guy is one of my favorite people. He's an absolute slayer, so that's for sure. Ultimately, like I said, it's another mechanism to get the word out, just to kind of give you an update, a quick update throughout the week. I know we get a ton of questions about why support CCA? What do we actually do? What have we actually accomplished? And we're going to take some time and do that throughout the coming weeks or so. Definitely super, super important work that we're doing. And like I keep saying, we can't do it alone. We definitely want to grow this community, grow our membership. And it's going to be super, super fun. By the way, becoming a CCA member, not a bad idea. It's $35 a year. It comes with a membership magazine along with a couple other goodies as well. And not to mention, you're just part of the cool club. So definitely think about joining CCA, $35 a year. You can actually log on to joincca.org or even ccacalifornia.org and become a member today. Currently, right now, we've got about 1,400 active members in California, but there's always room to grow. Nationally, we have about 140,000 members spread across 19 different states, California being the newest one. So super looking forward to growing our membership, to expanding up along the coast. We're primarily in Southern California right now, but we are moving north. Like I said, last year we ended up going up to Bakersfield, California, and opening up our Kern County chapter. We're definitely looking forward to expanding a little bit further north into Morro Bay, Eureka, San Francisco, everywhere in California, where we're going to have hundreds of local chapters in California. That's the ultimate goal. But anyway, special guests. We've got plenty of special guests. We're going to have industry titans. We're also going to have the everyday folk. We're going to have plenty of volunteers, plenty of our chapter presidents, everyone. It's going to be kind of a different podcast, so to speak. I'm out to learn about the people. What's behind all of the substance that we always hear every single year from the industry titans? What are they like? What do they love fishing for? All kinds of good stuff. We're also going to have plenty of updates because they're certainly needed, especially in California. When it comes to advocacy work, there are plenty of legislative updates that we need to let you know about what to do. Ultimately, one of our mottos that we've said in recently is we're doing the hard work so you can go fishing. But there are some times where we do need your help in the form of donation, in the form of membership, in the form of writing a letter or signing on to a letter or writing your local representatives. There's always going to be needs for those throughout the year. Anyways, a little bit of how it will work. Like I said, we're going to have plenty of special guests on the podcast, but we definitely want to hear from you. You're more than welcome to send me an email at chrisa@ccacalifornia.org. Once again, my email is chrisa@ccacalifornia.org. Love to hear from you. Send in any questions that you have, any special requests. If you want to hear from someone in particular, please let me know. Also, make sure that you're always connected with us via the social media channels. We are on Facebook. It's the Coastal Conservation of California. That is our Facebook page. If you go type that up, give us a like. We certainly appreciate it. Don't forget about Instagram as well. We are on Instagram at CCA California. That is our Instagram page, and we certainly look forward to seeing you there. Most importantly, our website, ccacalifornia.org. That's where the bulk of all of our information is. That's where you can become a member. That's where you can actually go register for all of our upcoming events. We got plenty of them in 2022, and they're all super fun. So definitely encourage you going on our website. Guys, thank you so much for listening to our very first episode of the podcast. I know this was a quick one, but I just wanted to get on here, intro myself, intro the podcast, and certainly want to let you know about all of our upcoming stuff. Please, like I said before, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you don't forget about our YouTube page as well, Coastal Conservation Association California. Please make sure you're subscribed to that. Speaking of subscriptions, make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you find your podcasts. We certainly would appreciate that. Next week, we've got Mr. Kevin Nakata from Savage Gear. Make sure not to miss that one. That one's going to be super fun. Once again, my name is Chris, and we thank you so much for tuning in. And definitely go subscribe to us on all of our social media pages. Check out our website, ccacalifornia.org, and make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. Thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next week.